And now for the theme tune. Forget about a theme tune!
Welcome to the Mom I Queens podcast. We're the rulers you either love or hate, and each week we'll be setting the world to rights. Then, from a randomly generated word, we'll be finding strange stories to tell each other, all whilst having a giggle and not needing alcohol to bring our special brand of madness directly to your ears. Full disclaimer, there will be not safe for work content and probably a strong view or two expressed. So settle in and enjoy the car crashing into a dumpster fire that is Sam and Laura.
That was expertly done. I'm very impressed.
Not bad for my first podcast introduction.
Very good. I was
So,
thought.
okay, so I suppose we should start then, shouldn't we? We should probably start with an introduction. So I will go first. Yeah, I'll go first. So my name's Laura Kendrick. I am an author. I say an author because I've written a book. It's just not published yet. So I'm an author. And I am available on Instagram for lip syncing, fun times, and stuff like that. And that's it. That's basically all you need to know.
Look at this, perfect timing. I am Sam. Hello. I won't give you my last name, just in case you try and dox me. On YouTube, you'll be able to see him. Get down. He is basically an attention whore and will spend most of the time trying to get on my lap. I have a small child. He sporadically drives me to the point of absolute despair. I'm sure I will mention that at some point. Yeah, I'm also an author. Look at me. We're both authors.
We're both authors and writers, darling.
Oh, there he is again.
There he is. For those who can't see, because you're listening to this, as this will be a podcast and available on YouTube.
Yes, mate.
Chase is going to be our mascot for the podcast, and he is Sam's pug.
Yeah.
Who is adorable.
Aww.
So just picture an adorable pug who is also a little bit in love with me. Just throw that out there.
He's in love with you.
So
he's in love with you.
Just throw that out there. So we decided to do this podcast because why did we decide? Because we just like shooting the shit sometimes, and a lot of the time it can be entertaining and we make a good double act. So we were like, do you know what? We're gonna like not enforce, that sounds like too angry.
Yeah.
So we're gonna allow this brand of madness into the world. So this is where we are. So
oh god, I'm currently looking at my dog's butthole. Please tell me that's not on the. Can you see his butthole?
No,
you can't. No. All right. Well, look at you, because it's pointed right at me.
This is it. When I say we are a car crashing into a dumpster fire, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the sort of content you can expect. Dogs' buttholes and
yeah.
I don't know. Just talking about ourselves. So let's start off with what is one thing that you have loved this week?
Yeah. All right. Well, I wrote down two things. So I wrote down Community and Schitt's Creek, but I'm going with Schitt's Creek because Community seems like not the program Community, which I do also love. FYI. But I haven't watched that this week. But like Community, but I feel like that's a bit too soppy, especially for the first episode. So I'm going Schitt's Creek because one, it's amazing. Have you seen it?
I have not. I have seen the gifs of. I've seen a lot of gifs of the sun in it.
Yeah. Yes.
I've never watched it though.
Like, don't get me wrong, all the actors in it are brilliant, but he is the reason that I am obsessed with it because he has no chill, like zero chill. He also has no ability to hide what he's feeling, and I've never related to someone so hard in my goddamn life.
I can relate. Yeah. I do not have a good poker face at all.
No, me either.
Not at all.
Especially considering I'm supposed to be an actor. Oh, I didn't say that. That's something I do as well. Like in real life, IRL, if you will, I cannot, like, if I'm feeling it, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know it.
Yep.
Yeah. Or I just
That's
have
the
to do
only way to be.
I have to do the sort of like, I'm just, oh, what's behind me? So I can just disguise the fact that you appall me to my very core. Yeah. What about you, babe? What's something that you've enjoyed this week?
Oh, I had like 5 or 6 things written down. I had like
A
not being
Monday.
at work. I had
Oh God.
I
Yeah.
had
It was
um
Monday before it was cold.
Drag Race is started again. We're on season 13, and
Yes.
I love Drag Race,
Yeah.
and I am quite liking a few of the queens this season. I'm very
Who's your fave? Tell me.
so far.
Tell me.
I really like Olivia Lux.
Okay.
I really like, and I cannot remember her name. Is it Simone? I think it's Simone who dressed up like $1 million baby boxer this week. She's just got an attitude that I am fully on board with.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, I think that's sort of it from the ones that I've seen so
Yeah.
far.
It's
So
still
far,
lovely. It's early doors.
yeah, it is. And I would have said something about Community as well, but do you know what? I'll be the soppy one for a change.
Oh.
I I would say about Community as well, because last night we had a bit of I don't know, a gathering, an online gathering, where we basically got pissed, and I say we, I got pissed and talked a lot.
To be fair though, like I was also drinking. It's just I had a limited amount of very small beers, so I was having to annoyingly nurse them. I was livid about it, but there we go.
I was on shots of Sambuca.
Shut. Yeah, you were, mate. You were, yeah. Oh, Laura likes to say when she's drunk, she does enjoy telling people that she's a fucking gift.
I am a fucking gift, mate.
Yeah, you are, mate. I'm not like
I
I'm not
was.
disagreeing with you. I'm just saying you do say it a lot.
I mean, I think other people say it more than me, and it's because one time at band camp, one time at a Christmas party, at the Christmas party that we had a while ago,
The Christmas party, the only
I
one.
said I was going as the ghost of Christmas present
Queen.
because Queen of
Thank
Christmas
you.
present
Yeah.
because I'm a fucking gift.
Yeah. It's stuck a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit, just a wee bit.
Yeah,
So then, what is something you've hated?
this one's easy for me. To be fair, this one is usually easy for me. People.
I mean, like the global population, or
Yeah. I know this is a great way to start off a podcast. Like, hello, listeners, you're all trash.
if they're listening to this podcast, they're definitely trash. Like,
Yeah, that's true. But the kind of trash that I'm all right with, like I'm on board with. The good trash. No, like, because there's been a few things that have happened this week that have pissed me off to no end. My child being at home when he's supposed to be at school. I can't remember who it was, but I said to someone earlier this week, if I'd have known I was going to spend this much time with my kid, I would have reconsidered breeding, because it's so much time. It's so much time all the time, and he is 10 now, so he's like in that sweet spot of pre-pubescent. And when I say sweet spot, I mean like he's being a lot.
he's not quite at the stage yet where he just lock himself in his room.
Yeah. Or he's also not quite at the stage yet where I can legally just walk out of the house.
I mean, there's also that.
Yeah. Oh, train. Excuse the train. But yeah, like, so that's been a lot. And then, of course, there was the attempted coup in America, where the lots of mostly white people, domestic terrorism, just tried to. And so that really got right on my tits. And just lots of little bits. So I was like, I can't pick one. So people, mate. Like,
Humanity.
yeah. So
You are that gif of Dwight going, ugh, we need a new plague.
yeah.
We
Don't
have one.
piss me
Let's
off. You can't joke about it while it's happening.
I mean, I definitely can.
Yeah,
Like,
and you did, and like, I'm not trying to censor you, mate. I promise. Yeah, just people. Like me and my sister. I say this to everyone. Like me and my sister always say, we hate people, but we love persons, which is so grammatically correct. It is painful, but yeah, people like on a whole, or when they're in a group, just are knobs.
they are. That's
Knobs.
just very true.
So that is what I've hated this week. It's just general twatty knobs people.
That's
what about you? What's
incredibly fair.
It's right, isn't it? It is fair, isn't it?
I mean, so the attempted coup of the Capitol in the USA also like riled me up. I think it made me angry in that way that when stuff makes you angry and you can't do anything about it, and there's nowhere when there's nothing you can do about it, there's nowhere for that anger to go. And I think that's what makes it even more difficult, because sort of the only thing you can do is like, I mean, you wrote an amazing poem.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Like an amazing poem, which you can go and listen to on Sam's Instagrams.
It's at, I changed it recently. What is it? Oh, Mistress of None.
Mistress of None.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those things that makes you just so frustrated because you can't. There's nothing you can do. You're powerless in the face of something like that. And we'd all like to. I mean, that's probably one of the big things of why I'm a writer, because where do you put that powerless feeling? You put it into a story where, you know, the heroes come along and everything gets set right, you know. You
retcon the history.
Yeah, that's that's it. And yeah, so that annoyed me. Something else I keep seeing that's really winding me up at the minute is people being like, I know they're a scientist, but COVID is not actually. And it's like, stop right now. COVID is a thing that is happening. You are not an immunologist or
a virologist.
Or a virologist. You have not spent your entire life working in a science environment. What you've done is read a conspiracy theory on Facebook and gone, this must be true.
Like Aunt Linda just shared. Like 100% Aunt Linda shared that.
And I can't with it. And it's getting more and more frustrating because to me, like, what's the worst thing that happens if you wear a face covering? Because it's not a mask. Let's just clear that up. Let's just.
That's the worst thing.
Just let's get this clear. It's a face covering. It's not a face mask. So if you don't like having a mask on your face, you can still go out with like a scarf, like loosely around your face, as long as you've got a barrier there. The fact that what's the worst that happens if you go out with a face covering on? Absolutely nothing. Maybe you get a couple of spots because, you know, you've breathed too much on yourself. Maybe you smell your own halitosis. Like
no one can see him, mate.
Exactly. Maybe you breathe in your own halitosis and realise how you've stank all these years.
Well, you know what? Personal growth's a wonderful thing.
But the thing that happens if you don't wear a mask and you don't sanitize and you don't practice social distancing is somebody could die. That is the reality of it.
Yeah.
And it's starting to make me more and more angry.
Yeah. As we go into lockdown 522.
Yeah. I think it's making Chase angry as well.
Yeah.
Chase is like, for those who can't see, Chase has just come and sat in front of the screen and he's looking at me as though to say, please don't be angry, Laura.
He's wagging his little tail as well. Oh, he's just gently sliding down. Oh, here we go. He's getting in close.
Close.
I agree. Like, having had an STD does not make you a scientist. So could you all sit down, apply the cream sparingly, and leave the rest of us the fuck alone? Please, God, because I know exactly what you mean. It's driving me nuts. I don't want to hear the vaccine's going to give me COVID. I don't want to hear Bill Gates is microchipping all the vaccines. Like, mate,
Like,
5G is not the reason. Calm down.
big-headed do you have to be like Bill Gates, the multimillionaire? Wants billionaire. Bill Gates, the multimillionaire, really wants to track me, Karen, from down the road, who maybe goes to Tesco once a week for a bottle of wine. Yeah, I'm sure he's really interested in what you're up to. Do you not think if Bill Gates could microchip people, maybe they'd have done something a bit more, I don't know, something a bit more about terrorism? Like,
just also, like, who has got time, all the resources, even Bill Gates, I'm talking about, to actually track everybody? Oh my actual God. No, that is depressing. Why would you want to? Because I know what I do in a day, and quite frankly, I wouldn't wish anyone watching it.
So this is the thing. There's a YouTuber, I can't remember her name. I'll put it in the show. I'll try and find her and put it in the show notes. And she said she was talking about one thing or another, and she was talking about how disproving it, and she was like, the problem with these things is it takes 30 seconds to tweet something like that, and it takes 6 hours of research, 3 hours of writing a 3,000 word essay, and like 20 million different sources to and a half an hour video to like completely
anything
just disprove it.
It won't, like, you can disprove it as much as you want. Once it's out there, the angry mob will believe it. Because, like, anyone can say anything. I can say Christmas trees are the reason for the rise in herpes in the Sudan. And people will be like, what? Oh my God, have you heard? Instead of going, how is that possible? What are people doing with Christmas trees in the Sudan? For one, I need to know that. People are just like, oh my God.
They've got a very different kind of star over there.
Bringing it into one's house means something different. But yeah, people do that. They will believe anything. And especially if one of their friends or family have shared it. They're like, well, I know for a fact that my dad fact checks everything. So I'm going to just not even read really what he's written. I'm just going to be like, share. So let's bring it back to the fact that people are the worst.
So yeah, mine is pretty similar to yours. People are the worst.
Yes, they suck.
We need a new plague. Oh wait. Yeah, but this plague is not killing off the right people.
Thieves. That's what I like to call
If
them.
only they could genetically modify a virus that could just kill off people without an ounce of common sense.
Like, you write a novel about it, because I'd read the shit out of that, mate.
It's a good idea, that.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Consider it.
Boris Hendrick, can't take it.
Copyrighted, signed, delivered. I've already done the cover, mate. It's there.
Yeah.
It's ready to go. Okay, so now we've had our little rant.
Yeah.
I think we should give people something to laugh about. So,
yeah.
So what we've done is, and what we'll be doing is, every week we'll randomly generate a word, and then we will go away and we will find a fact or stories or something to do with that word that are weird or amusing or, I don't know, just something, just entertaining on a whole. So this week we randomly generated the word fireman.
Honestly, it was randomly generated.
I had nothing to do with my Google search history. I don't know what you're talking about. That scene in Bridget Jones' Baby when all the fireman pictures start coming up in the background.
Very quickly, one of my favourite things when you go into Google and you start to search for something is just typing in like the or something, and then just waiting for its suggestions just to see. Because some of the stuff, like one of them, I typed in is, and it was just like, is my cat trying to kill me? I was like, how many people have asked this for it to be? I'm like, absolutely, mate. 100% your cat is trying to kill you.
Your cat is definitely trying to kill you.
Yeah.
1,000%. So should I, I've got two. So should I,
I'll sandwich in between you then.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a delicious
Filling.
Sandwich. That sounds like a delicious sandwich. I
Yes.
mean,
Yours.
I'm a healthy loaf right here. Sam is some delicious filling. That's what we've got. So, a lot of people might have heard about this one. You might have heard of it. This is a story. What I like to do is just go on Google and type in strange stories for whatever, because I do it for my newsletter quite a lot. And this one is one that I actually remember being in the news. I remember it being on the Metro, and it was kind of everywhere at the time. So there might be a lot of people who have heard about this, but it's still hilarious. There was a girl on a date. She was on a first date with a guy, and she needed the bathroom. So she went to the bathroom and she did a shit.
You went to say it so delicately and then just hard U-turn. That was amazing.
She did a shit that would not flush. And instead of just, I don't know, using a toilet brush to break it up, maybe, or like,
Break it up.
I don't know, like,
Oh my god, break it up.
I don't know, getting a hanger from someone, sneaking into his bedroom. She decided to fish it out with some toilet paper.
We hope.
Open the window and throw the turd out the window. The thing is, this window had a very narrow gap. For some reason, this window had a gap, so it was like the window and then a gap and then another window. So his turd just ended up in between these window gaps. And this girl, instead of just admitting what she'd done, she decided to try and climb in there to get it back out. And at this point, she got stuck. And when she got stuck, the fireman had to be called.
Oh,
Can you imagine attending that as a fireman? Can you imagine just rocking up and being like, what's the problem? She's stuck in a window because she was trying to get her shit out. That's
I
like,
feel like that is the best definition of exponential growth I can think of. Oh god. Oh mate. Oh, like I understand. I can relate to the panic of like you're in someone's house, like full stop. I can relate to the panic you're in someone's house, especially if it's like a first date and you know there's a lot of stigma around girls and their butts and what comes out or goes in them.
Girls fart, boys. Just
do.
throwing it out there.
They do, yeah.
They do. And they also shit. I know it's a surprise to some of you, but
no, and they also fish shit out of the toilet, whack it in between two bits of glass, and then get themselves stuck trying to get it back out.
it's just so if you Google it, there is a picture of her stuck between the
no, that poor bitch. Like, please tell me that they've like
this. So, well, this is the thing. This is the beautiful thing to come out of that. I'm pretty sure I remember reading that they ended up together. Like, they actually ended up together because that was just. I mean, if that's the kind of wild first date you go in and you're like, yeah, I still want to see them. They tried to. Can you imagine telling people that story though? Like, how did you meet? What was your first date like? Well, she tried to throw shit out the window and we had to call a fireman. Like,
to be fair, still not as bad as some of my dates. Anyway, right, so hang on, I've got mine here. This is not as funny, it's more like, what? So, I believe it's in America, this one. Alright. Sorry, my dog is barking at his own reflection, which is amazing. Here we go. So, did you know that about 100 firefighters a year are arrested for starting fires?
what?
Yeah, right? So, basically, it looks like the fire service attracts some arsonists,
Pyromaniacs.
people that just like to watch the world burn. And at some point, they just get bored of putting out the fires and they're like, you know what, mate? I'm going to start one.
Also, I imagine there's quite a lot of money in that because I imagine if you're a firefighter and you know how to get around the whole people finding out that a fire's been set deliberately, you can be like,
Side business.
that's some good. There's some good. I bet there's some good
Needs
mob
to
money in
sink
that.
body because I know how to do the perfect blaze.
Yeah, that's it.
Like price. I mean, if you like in for a penny, in for a pound. If you're gonna be an arsonist, you might as well. I mean, they're dead bodies. They're not burning people alive. In my.
I mean, in your head they're not, but in my head they are. In my head they're like locking the door behind them and being like, "See you later, Brenda."
Like the worst fucking consequence of not completing a task on the crystal maze. Yeah, you are locked in, burning to death.
And these are the kind of psychos that just sit outside in their fire truck playing Burn Baby Burn over and over again.
Yeah, like yeah.
Wow, that's.
I know.
I wonder if there's any statistics like that around, like detectives and murderers.
Absolutely. I know, for example, the military. There's I think it's 3 types of people generally that join the military. You've got people that like genuinely have a sense of patriotism and want to fight for their country. You have people that are kind of trying to like either escape a prison sentence because that's still a thing, you know, jail or
Didn't know
or you have people that want to hurt people.
Yeah.
And the military is like a legal way, and so is the police force and stuff. There needs to be some more heavy vetting, I think, because
well, I think when
hey, like murder, come here. On fire, why don't you go be a police officer, a firefighter?
Fireman.
It takes 100 hours of training.
When like the Black Lives Matter movement really found its sort of legs in a big way, as in like it was everywhere. Last like March, I remember reading a statistic about like how long the police are trained, and it's something like for like the police are trained for like a month or something, or like 2 weeks in America, and in somewhere like Sweden they've got trained for like 3 years.
Yeah,
like they've got trained for a long time, and I just think if you're in that sort of position of power, you should definitely have to train for longer than like a week. A week, and here's a gun. See you later. Do what you want.
Yeah, it is. It's shocking. How? Yeah.
That's bananas.
But yeah, so firefighters be setting stuff on fire. Relight my fire. All right, Will. I'm a fire. The other one. You said you got 2. I've done my filling. I filled you up.
Yeah, filled me up.
You're welcome.
That's true. I actually, right, okay, I've got 3 because I've got another interesting fact that I read. I mean, listen, this is, if people didn't come here to listen to me talk about firemen, then
then why are they here?
Then why are they here?
You don't have to listen.
You could have turned this off half an hour ago.
Just saying. Go on. Hit me
apparently, in like Japan, in like between 1600 and like 1800, firemen used to just like dip themselves, make themselves all wet before they ran into a fire.
I saw this one. Yeah, they moistened themselves, ran into the fire, and not necessarily they moistened themselves, and then they also pulled the buildings down.
Yes.
To smother the fire. Yeah.
That's bananas.
Fire moistened me. Do you need
moisturize me?
I'm enough.
Like that thing on Doctor Who, moisturize me.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh my God. Disgusting. But it did say that not that many people died in fires, so. I mean, but to be fair, the population was quite different then.
Yeah. Okay, so my last one is, and this is really going to set the tone for like, this is really where you know what you're getting into with this podcast. I'm just gonna. That's my disclaimer.
Me telling.
There was
all people, sure.
A lot, and I mean a lot of stories about firemen having to rescue people who've got their penises trapped in things, right? Which, I mean,
when you say things,
right? So the one that I read, the specific one that I read, because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, don't tell me in generalities. I want to know exactly what people are getting their dicks put in.
The weight at a gym. So you know the round weight with the hole in the middle? some guy had been like, do you know what? There's a hole. I'm going to stick my dick in that. And then the fireman had to be called to, I don't know if it was the actual gym or if it was the hospital, but had to be called to the hospital at least. And they had to spend 3 hours using a jackhammer and a saw and something else to break it out of this thing.
Mate, first of all, sorry, there's a lot of questions going on in my brain right now. First of all, one is imagining that to get it stuck, it would have had to have been turgid, effect, hard. Yes, lobbed all the way on, if you will. So why not just wait for that to no longer be the case? Because I would imagine getting your knob stuck in a weight in the gym would very quickly deflate your situation.
I mean,
like a floppy penis is malleable. I reckon you could shunt it out. You don't need the firemen. I think you just want people staring at you. I think you want to be able to say proudly, it's a grower and a shower. There is no way in my mind that that is a thing. Like, just a little bit of lube, you're done. No, absolutely not, mate. That guy, no.
Absolutely fucking not. Can you imagine, like,
100%.
can you imagine being the poor fireman turning up to that, though? Being like, they're like, even the operator on the line, you want a what? There's a what? There's a what? Listen here, Kev. You got to go and sort a guy out who's got your dick stuck in a way. You'd be like,
please, sir.
Brian's off to fight an actual fire down the road and you're going to go and take a man's knob out of some weights. You'd be like, absolutely fucking not. This is not what I signed up for. Apparently, so there was one, and I didn't actually read this article because I just read the weight one because I was like, I can't click on too many penis stories this afternoon.
That will all the way up.
So this other one, it said they got it stuck in a wrench. How do you get it stuck in a wrench? A wrench is fucking tiny, mate. Like, what are you doing?
Finally, something.
You know what? I've heard about people getting stuck. How do you explain? I mean, how do you make it? You can't make an excuse for that, can you?
A wrench on the inside isn't smooth, is it? Because it's
no.
So why? Are you just like, do you know what? Not only do I want to potentially get my cock stuck in here, I also want to grate it the fuck to pieces. I would like some permanent scars on my dick. Hopefully they'll look cool. Like, I don't understand. Like,
Chick stick scars, right?
Guys, why are you putting your dicks into metal things? Like,
why are you putting your dick in things that they don't belong in the first place?
I get it. It's been a while. We're in lockdown, okay? We're all feeling it. But trust me, if you must, maybe like put a hole in a watermelon.
There you go. Put it in a pie.
Yeah, we've all seen American Pie. Put it in a pie.
In a pie.
Your lube with super glue and stop putting your dick into metal objects. Jesus Christ.
It's just, because like when people turn up at hospital and they've got stuff stuck up their ass, like I have to be sat on it.
You couldn't let it go, could you?
What would you be like? Would you be like, oh, I just fell on it, and that was, I just fell exactly in the right thing to get to get it in the hole.
Can you imagine how bad it would be if I'd have missed by a bit? Oh.
But then, can you imagine having to, like, I don't know, try and carry that out of the gym, like just in your shorts, like?
What I mean, like, second, especially at the minute, right, with COVID, can we just take a second to say that our fucking doctors and nurses have been through enough? They are going through enough. They are literally having to save people's lives day in, day out. Most of those people are in there because of fucking idiots that will not, like, follow lockdown rules. What they don't need, right, is you whapping up to A&E with your fucking dick in a vice or weights or a fucking wrench, whatever. No one needs to see your dick, Marvin. Keep it to yourself, all right?
Marvin, I love that.
Like, if you're going to clap for the NHS, you can't then put your dick in a weight. I'm just saying, it's one or the other.
It's one or the other. You either clap for the NHS or you put your dick in a vice. Those are the options.
There's no middle ground.
That's it. Those are the options you've got left. Literally.
Yeah, let us know in the comments which of those options you
What would you choose? Clap for the NHS or
in a 5. And if you don't have a dick,
just comment anyway?
just comment. I was gonna say clit and a vice, but that'd be like, I tell you what, that would take some engineering skill.
Oh, I just.
Sorry, babe.
Do you know what? Knowing the internet, there's probably a freaking.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
There is definitely like.
100%, not from personal knowledge. I'm sure there is something.
Are you sure?
I mean, not 100%. But there is probably something out there. If you've thought it, there's porn of it.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is depressingly true.
Right, we're gonna spin the wheel of bot.
Spin the wheel of bot. That's what I was just trying
Get
to.
the wheel bot out, mate. Get it out, mate.
Get it out. Right, okay, so I'm on a random word generator. We're going to generate a word for next week, which is what we'll have to find stories about.
Right, I'm gonna write this down.
Oh. Now, we can keep this one or we can, no, we've got to keep it. Do you know what? Fuck it.
All right.
The word is principle.
Oh, okay. Well, there's lots of ways you could go on that.
There's a lot of things you can do with that. I mean, like,
Feeney's
principle.
the first thing that comes to my head from Boy
What
Meets-
is?
Principal Feeney. Do you remember from Boy Meets World?
I never watched Boy Meets World.
Please, my friend.
I swear, Sam's like, I'm not doing the podcast with you anymore. When I think of principle,
this is a nice test run.
I think of Schneider.
Oh,
Schneider from
Buffy, when he says, what is it? There's just a bad smell about them. I can smell it. It's like a sixth sense. And Giles is like, no, actually, that would be one of the 5. Oh, he's a right little rat.
Do you know why I think of him?
Though? By a massive snake, quite frankly.
I think of him because I also think of that scene where Giles shoves him against a filing cabinet, and it's one of the goddamn sexiest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's just take a moment to appreciate the Anthony Stewart headness.
Oh.
That's it, right. So next week's word is principle. If you have a funny story surrounding principle, if you have a fact about a principle, anything like that,
yeah,
put it in the comments. You can put it in the YouTube comments, in the Instagram comments, in the, you know, where Facebook comments, wherever you can find us.
Throw it on the internet.
Yeah, just throw it out there. Throw it out there, which is exactly what we're doing with this podcast.
And we'll catch it.
Yeah, we'll catch it in our loving embrace.
Well,
and then we'll probably laugh at it.
Oh, we'll tear it to shreds. So be careful if it's a personal story. Maybe change the names of yourself and everyone that you know for their safety.
Yes, that's a good thing to say. I would never have thought of that. I would have just been like, Ryan from...
who's incidentally, their postcode is DN. That's customer 52. Go tell him he's a dickhead.
Yes. So that wraps up our first...
Oh, mate, we did it. We got to the end.
First podcast. We've done our first podcast.
Yeah.
So next week's word is principle. So if you, like I said, if you've got any funny stories or things you hate about this word, drop a comment on one of the social media channels, and you might be featured on a listener's stories episode, because we're going to do those. So maybe, like, I don't know, once in a blue moon, we'll gather up the funniest stories and we'll read them out and discuss and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but also in the same token, if you hated the podcast, don't at us, because we don't care. But if you loved it, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under the Marmite Queens.
Yeah. Right. That's it then, isn't it? Peace out. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Marmite Queens, you dumpster fire garbage people. And now for the outro.
You can't
afford a theme tune. Definitely can't afford an outro.